DAKKA here, and today we're going to take a look at a new NPAS that I bought for my Tokyo Marui MWS. First off, what is an NPAS and why do we need it? In gas blowback rifles, we have a power source that is heavily dependent on temperature. The colder it is, the slower the expansion, and the hotter it is, the quicker the expansion of gas. When using heavier ammo, what you're going to find is, of course, a drop in FPS, but because that ammo requires more pressure to push it out the barrel, we're going to get an increase in joules, which is joule creep. This also happens with a longer barrel, as that gas has more time to expand when pushing that BB out. An alternative is to use lower powered gas. Sometimes that is not the most sufficient choice, considering if you buy particularly one brand of gas. So an NPAS stands for Negative Pressure Air System. This is designed to increase or decrease the flow of gas through the barrel. So by making it either close sooner or close later. So while perusing the Gas Blowback Rifle Heavy Recoil Club Discord, which by the way is a great place to look for information on gas blowbacks of different brands, and a business called Federal Concepts made a post that they had their version of an alternative to the other NPASs in stock. And they claim it only uses one tool to adjust. So I absolutely had to check this out and ended up buying one. So we're going to have a look at it, and we're also going to do a bit of a test on it as well to see its consistency. So Federal Concepts do make quite a varied collection of airsoft accessories, some for like mid-cap magazines or hand stocks, but they also make quite a few interesting parts for gas blowbacks, mainly feed lips for the Tokyo Marui MWS and AKM AKX, and of course their version of the NPAS, which we're going to talk about. So their version is called a FEDA Valve, which stands for Fast, Easy and Direct Adjustment Valve. It's made from engineering grade resin, and apparently it's compatible with Tokyo Marui, Guns Modify, Unicorn and BJ Tac nozzles. Now specifically they recommend version 3.5 of Guns Modify. It was €24.90 for the actual FEDA Valve, and it was €5.95 shipping. They're based in Portugal, and of course to get to the UK it arrived quite quickly in just about a week or so with no problems. I also bought a PVC patch for €8 and one of their stickers to go on my box as well for €2. So we're going to have a quick look and see what this is all about. So just a quick word, why am I changing my NPAS? Well, the RA Tech one I've been using occasionally has its time when consistency is not good and the method of adjustment is not practical. You have to use the specific tool to actually rotate the adjuster, and using a small screwdriver or very thin stick to stop the actual valve rotating whilst you're adjusting. And you can't really get a good accurate adjustment on it sometimes as well, which is a bit of a problem. I've had it when I've been out on a site and the day has gotten a little bit warmer, and I've had it chronoed and it was just a little bit too much, a little bit over the limit. And so of course said, yep, got an NPAS, so here we go, let's adjust it. And it was a bit of a faff. And I ended up underpowering it essentially, but I just couldn't be bothered having to precisely do it, so I just stuck with it at low power, but I still managed throughout the day. So first things first, we'll just talk about some of my internals of my MWS. I do have some new externals, so I've got the Magpul CTR stock, the Magpul K2 grip, and of course the Magpul angled grip, because I think Magpul's quite good. The PTS Radian charging handle, which I do like. And this is the Angry Gun Mark 16 Geisley rail. I think it's the 10.5 inch. And I've got a Laylax, I think it is, slim suppressor, which just fits nicely into it. So for the internals, we have a Maple Leaf 290mm Crazy Jet inner barrel. And it is roughly 6.04mm in diameter inside. We also have a Maple Leaf MR 60 degree silicon bucking Silicon is good for the gas blowbacks, but definitely not the AUGs. And all my magazines have DAKKA airtight routers in them as well. Now, if you've seen, I think it's Ollie Talks Airsoft, he does a video on this. I found that they've also have increased FPS over standard TM ones, and they do, in my opinion, give a little bit more kick and a lot better gas efficiency from what I remember testing previously with them. So, of course, these results, when we put the NPAS in, are going to be purely based on my build. When you want to check with yours, you want to test and set it for your own build to the site limits or the function you're using it for. Mine's standard type fully auto, so I'm not going to be DMRing it, so we're going to be doing it on UK limits, which is 350 FPS on a 0.2 gram BB with 1.14 joules max. So I've digressed a bit. Let's get into it and have a look at the NPAS itself and see what it's all about. Comes in very nice packaging as well. So in the packet you'll get the 1.5mm Allen key to adjust it, and the NPAS itself. Let's just see if we can have a quick close-up. So here we go. This is, as it said, was made from engineering grade resin, and it's very clean. I've only not noticed any problems or any, I'd say, flashing. I'm not too into 3D printing. You've got this power indicator here, and these lines are to tell you to stop adjusting. Apparently, if you go any further than those lines while you're adjusting, that screw is going to come loose. The screw itself apparently is also Loctited, so that you won't have any self adjustments on it as well from constant use. And I think these legs here, I think that's where the valve blocker sits, and that's how it stops rotating as you adjust it. But it mimics the stock nozzle very closely, as you can see. But very neat and very clean little piece there. So what we'll do, put that aside, and now we'll strip down the bolt. Put you over there for a minute. Right. Right, so here is the FEDA valve, and here's the valve blocker, and as you can see, exactly like I said. So it's going to move around and prevent it from moving like so. Usually don't struggle with this bit too much. There we go. It's different when you're trying to film yourself. Ooh. That's better. There we go. Now installed. So before we reassemble it, we're going to adjust the power and we're going to start as low as we can go. Let's see if I can. There we go. Just there, sorry. Clockwise decreases the power, so you want to go as low as we can. And like I said, just before you see that bottom line, if I can just get a better image of it there. There you go. You want to just stop adjusting right there. So we're going to start on the lowest point we can. Right, let's go ahead and put it all back together. So when we test this, of course it's tested with the same conditions that we would be using it. It's important that you test it with the hop correctly set for the weight you are using. Do not turn it all the way off or all the way on to cheat, or either try cheat the chrono. We are going to be testing it with Abbey Predator Ultra Gas. This is my go-to gas for all my gas blowbacks, except that one time I used 144A on my MP7, that's Havco CQB, just because that was stock standard and for some reason it was shooting a little hot with it. And it was a cold day even that day as well. And of course my favourite brand of BBs that I like to go to, Jeff's 0.3 gram weight. These are natural bios. I think a lot of sites are going bio now, save the planet and all that, but probably just easier to clean up in the long run as well. I've used Titman's before. Titman's all right, but I do prefer Jeff's. If you can get a good load of them, definitely worth it. Ollie Talks Airsoft also does a video where he checks the consistency of the sizing of the BBs of different brands, and I'm very sure I remember that Jeff's being the most consistently sized, meaning you're going to get the best shot out. You're going to get the best shot. Let me start again. You're going to get the best shot consistency with those BBs compared to other brands as well. So of course, safety goggles on before we start loading mags. Now, this is a fully gas mag, and the hop is of course set for the weight of BB. I know. And shout out to AirTac for their Odin signed winder adapters. There we go, brilliant. Get a mag in there first before we start winding, and here we go. We'll do a few, won't do it fully. And we're not going to let that one escape. He'll go back in at some point as well. Okay, right. So we're on the lowest setting. So we're going to start off with 5 readings. See what we get. 147 and 0.3 joules. 139 and 0.27. 138 and 0.26. 135 and 0.25. And 136 and 0.25. Okay, shooting on the low side, so we want to definitely increase the power. So as I said, go ahead and let's see how quickly we can adjust it up, because compared to the RA Tech, I'd probably be still going to be faffing around with 2 tools getting them both out. There we go. Right, let's see if we can adjust it a little bit more. So counterclockwise is going to decrease the power, so we'll do a full turn that way and see how much that does. We'll get some nice fresh readings. Right, here we go. So this is now with it adjusted 1 full turn from the lowest setting. 173 and 0.41. 168 and 0.39. 1.6 and 0.4. 1.73 and 0.42, and 167 and 0.38. So still a bit to go. Let's try again and see if we can get it a little bit higher. I think, as I said at the start of this, we want to be aiming for 285 FPS and less than 1.14 joules. The FPS is not such a matter, it's the joule limit we're really concerned about, if anything. So here we go, and we'll do another. We'll do one and a half, I think it was roughly. And of course, like I must say this, it is important that you always chrono on the weighted BB that you're using. It's not right to chrono on a 0.2 then use something heavier, because God knows how much power you're getting that BB out with. Right, here we go. So now that's 1.5 turn from the previous. .246 and 0.84. 290 and 1.73, 285, 1.34, 280, 1.093, and 282 and 1.12. There we go. What I think I'd like to do, because it was a little bit higher at that one point, is just give it a quarter turn back just to be precise, because of course, as I said at the beginning, gas blowbacks are heavily dependent on temperature. So one thing you don't want to do is put it right up to the point. You want to give yourself some space if you're going to have a very warm day. So let's just get that key in, and we're just going to do a quarter of a turn there. Get stuck in there as well. There's a lot to go in with gas blowbacks if you're new to it, but in my opinion, I started out with typical AEGs, such as my AK, but I'm going to love gas blowback rifles now, especially this MWS. Passion, a project of passion this has been. Right, let's see what the readings are now. 276 and 1.064, 272 and 1.03, 270, 1.02, 266 and 0.99, and 269 and 1.009. So there we go. To be honest, that's been some pretty consistent readings. Right, here we go. So 0.3 gram BBs, and we're going to go full auto straight the way through. Okay. I completely forgot to do the first test with getting an average, but we'll see. We'll see where we come with then. So let's load her up again to get average. But we were in the 260s, 270s roughly on a good average before. So we'll use that as a base point. I'll just reset it again. We'll top the mag back up again. So let's go semi and let's have a look. So 261, 260, 257, 254, and 251. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Do you know what? That's pretty good. Let's have a look at the valve in itself and see if there's any potential damage while we're here, just as we did it in full auto. Been stripping the bolt down again, but fun times, eh? Let's have a look. There we go. As far as I can tell, I don't see any cracks or anything like that. It's a little bit cold. Yeah, that's all fine. A little bit of wear here and there just from that spring, but other than that, yeah, that's held up quite well. Can't wait to see how it holds up for a good couple of sessions though. So, in conclusion, I think Federal Concepts have made something really good here. It's consistent and it holds up on full auto, and even after full auto, it's still, well, one round of full auto, it's still shooting consistently, which is brilliant. And I haven't seen any self-adjustment, but that's probably going to be after some heavy use, we'll find out. I might do a review on it in a few months or so after the UK warms up a bit and I can get out and use it. But all of that, I'm very happy with it. I definitely would recommend using this in your MWS over an RA-Tech NPAS, for instance, especially that it only uses a 1.5mm Allen key and nothing specific, and just that to adjust it. So of course, it was fast, easy, and direct to adjust. So if you enjoyed the video and like this sort of content, please leave me a comment and ask any questions. I tried to be as informative as possible. If I've made any mistakes, it's my first go at something like this, but I quite enjoyed doing it as well. But please remember to load me up with a like, subscribe, and target that notification bell for more DAKKA.